happening? It's Foxboro Rush. I'm George Balekji. He's Travis Thomas.
Yeah!
T, I love the shirt you're rocking today, bro. You got the memo.
Twinning.
That's it right there.
Hey,
It's
man,
funny.
black tees. You know, you can never go wrong, bro.
Remember this morning, you and me were getting bagels over at the corner store, and they're like, are you guys brothers? You
I
look
know.
just alike.
But the thing is, like, you're going crew neck. I got that V-neck action because I've been doing them incline presses, brother. I want you to see them pecs popping out at the top. You don't really see it. You just see collarbone. But I'm working on it, though.
I'll believe it when I see it of you actually at the gym. Hey, episode 41 of Foxboro Rush. The Charlie Waters episode, throwback, or the Alvin Kamara episode.
Yeah.
We're going through who rocked 41 before this show. We got an update on Matt Judon. It looks like it's going from a hold-in to a hold-out as he did not report to Patriots practice day 6 of training camp. We have updates on how close they are to coming to a deal, but also we'll talk the future of Judon in New England. Jacoby Brissett against Drake Maye. Numbers as well. Drake Maye struggling. John Elway talking about how he passed on Josh Allen in the 2018 draft. And then we go over our Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks, but it's Nesson submitted. We'll get to that. But let's open up with training camp practice, day 6, second practice in full pads, Travis.
Yep.
And obviously this episode is being taped after they had practice number 5. That was the first one in full pads. So to catch everyone up, Matt Judon was a full participant when there were no pads on.
Right.
Pads come on. He gets to the practice field.
Yep.
Has a catch with the fans. Then gets onto the field wearing sweats and sneakers. Sulks around. Is sitting on a dummy sled. Sitting on a trash can. Not participating in practice.
Holding court.
Gerard Mayo goes up to Matt Judon. They have a convo. Gerard Mayo smartly covers his mouth so the cameras can't pick him up. Stuff starts to get animated.
Yep.
Matt Judon leaves. Returns to the practice field in shorts and a flip-flop and seeks out Elliott Wolf and Matt Groh and has a animated conversation with them as well.
Right.
So this is where the hold-in gets interesting because he wants money. He wants guaranteed money. He sees everyone getting paid. Now Matt Judon, day 6, not at practice at all. What do you make of this step in this saga of Matt Judon wanting more money? Because remember, last season, Trav, he wanted more money. He held in. And the Patriots took the money from this year, hiked it up to last year. So he made like around 14, 15 million.
Right.
Now he's about to do just under 8 million. This season he goes, I want more money. I want long-term guarantees.
Yeah, I mean, listen, bro, like we know what to make of it. He's unhappy. He's disgruntled. And the new culture around the team allows for us to watch that play out. Like Bill Belichick, this would have never happened. He would have been disgruntled, all right, but too bad, so sad. You're playing or you're at home. What do you want to do? And Judon would have had a decision to make. But one thing that wouldn't have happened, we wouldn't have been watching this like we're watching an episode of All My Children or something. Like we're watching this stuff play out, and it's good for me and you and Foxboro Rush because we get to talk about it now, and you can give that intro that you just did, you know, where Judon's holding court. And he's having animated discussions with the head coach and the damn GM. But if Bill was here, that would have never happened. So that's the first thing I think about is it's clear to me these two sides are headed for divorce. And I'm actually at the point now, George, where I'm trying to figure out where Matthew Judon is going to get traded to because it's going to happen in the coming days. It may happen before the end of the show, the way things are going. And look, I looked at the bottom of the league in terms of sack production teams-wise.
Okay.
Here's a handful of teams, and they all make sense. You can make a case for them to go to any of these. There's one in particular I want to make a case for. But here are the teams. Panthers, Bears, Cardinals, Giants, and Saints, right? Pretty good defenses in there, too, some of them, and they just didn't have the sack production per se. Now, Panthers are a bad rebuilding team.
They don't have cap space.
They don't have cap space. I can't imagine he wants to go there. So let's just take them off the list because some of this could be we want to do right by Matthew Judon too, right? Cardinals is interesting because that's a spot. They have the money, and that's a spot where you and I have talked about them as we have our eyes on them for being a potential sleeper in the NFC where there's plenty of room for sleepers. So the Cardinals makes a lot of sense. We've seen players over the years go to that franchise in his position. A Terrell Suggs comes to mind for me and have success on the field. Off the field's a different story. But the Cardinals make a lot of sense. The Giants, I mean, that kind of personality in New York, they have some guys on that D-line. I don't hate the landing spot for the Giants. I'm not sure of their cap situation. And then the Saints are just a mess right now. But, hey, it's New Orleans. It's a cool city. Maybe he'd be interested there. The one I want to lock in on is the Chicago Bears, and here's why. You'll remember this. On draft night, I was screaming for the Bears to take Jared Verse,
a
young man, defensive lineman out of Florida State who eventually went to the Rams. But I thought on draft night, even though Odunze is fantastic and he's going to be awesome, he's going to be electric, he's another weapon for my boy Caleb Williams. But I thought they had enough weapons, quite frankly. Adding him was a luxury, Odunze I'm talking about. But I thought taking a Jared Verse and putting him alongside Montez Sweat would have put the Bears where they need to be. That would have been a balanced team. They would have been monsters of the midway on defense, which is their brand, and then offensively they would have stepped into 2024 and 2025. Instead, they took the receiver. No problem. I think now the Bears have another opportunity to just trade for this guy and pay him. Get him. You have a quarterback on a rookie deal right now. Pay this guy. You don't have to pay him long term. This is why I don't understand the Patriots position. But that's another topic for I'm sure we'll talk about.
I'll say it's a topic for today.
It's a topic for today. But right now, I'm just saying, let's nip this in the bud. I don't want to see Matthew Judon traded. He's said it out of his mouth that Matthew Judon, do not want to be traded. I don't want to be the bad guy. He's doing every podcast you can think of right now except Foxboro Rush. So if you want to come on here, Matthew, come on, bro. Let's have a conversation with you. But at this point, it's clearly a distraction. He's clearly disgruntled. Just move on. You're only likely, I want to hear from you, Mr. GM in training, but I feel like you're going to get a 4th or a 5th round pick for him. It just is what it is. Take it. Get on the phone. Move this guy out of here. Let him go somewhere where he can play and get paid. I think Chicago makes a lot of sense. And if I'm the Bears, I'd do it in a New York second. I would trade for Matthew Judon. I would give up a 4th or 5th round pick. Who cares? I would bring that guy in. I'd give him a 2-year deal with some cash and say, go work out with Montez Sweat, and you two wreak havoc on the NFL while this kid figures it out offensively and we're going to the playoffs. Matthew Judon would take that.
I think you can get a 4th at the minimum for Judon. And you could add incentives to it where if he hits a certain number of snaps, game plays, 10 sacks, which he will get to no problem as long as he's healthy, then that could hike up to a 3rd round pick.
Fine.
Trav, I love the Bears pick.
Yep.
They have $12 million in cap space this year. They have over $40 million in cap space next year.
Yep.
They have Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze. You have your quarterback and a wide receiver 3 under rookie team control. Braxton Jones, both their tackles, both under team control. They went out and got Montez Sweat last year. Mm-hmm. If you add Matt Judon, the Bears right now are in a win-now mode.
Absolutely.
And if you get Matt Judon, that means you have him and Montez Sweat when you're facing Jared Goff, when you're facing Jordan Love 4 times a year, let alone the playoff run through the NFC.
That's right.
Now, opposite of the Bears, I'm looking to your team in the NFC North as well, the Detroit Lions. They have the cap space right now, $34 million, and they have over $40 million next year. That is a perfect layout. If you trade for Matt Judon, again, give up a 4th round pick. And for Judon, this is a great landing spot. Both teams are. Because they're further ahead than the Patriots.
Yeah.
So if anything, he's playing this all perfect. But the Lions trade for him, line him up opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, and we've seen every investment they put into this defense. Yeah. Going out, getting 2 corners in this draft. They have Brian Branch from last year's draft. Aiden Hutchinson's going to become even better in year 3. Then add a vet like Matt Judon to wreak havoc, be a pass rusher, and will pay dividends in the playoffs. And you have the cap space for it. What the Lions are doing right now, they are in win-now mode as well. Yep. They will never have a window further open than what they have right now. With Goff under contract and healthy, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and their offensive line all taken care of. So I actually look at the Lions with more cap space, and they have the ability to give up picks because of everything is there right in front of them right now. They drafted 2 corners. They have a good safety. They have the receivers and tight ends all figured out. They have Jahmyr Gibbs, and they have Jared Goff. So while you're thinking Bears, which I do like, I'm thinking Lions. It makes more sense because they have more cap space. And they could trade for him and go, hey, with the $7.5, $8 million you're going to make this year, we'll tack on another $7. Here's $14 million guaranteed this year. And we'll give you a contract, just like what he signed with the Pats. Let's go $30 million guaranteed over the course of 3 years. The first 2 years are the real money. We'll have incentives that it could accelerate it up to, let's say, $38 million.
Yep.
He gets paid. He's closer to chasing for a Lombardi, and the Patriots could get something in return. Now, with how Matt Judon has handled all of this, it went from a hold-in where he showed up and he said, hey, I'm going to be a professional. I'm under contract. I'll play under it. I will show up in practice. And then I like how he played the game. Meeting with the media, holding court 15 minutes, talking about why he's pissed off, how he can't be shy about, I'm jealous of other guys in my locker room and across the league getting paid. And then while the Patriots are coming out and saying we're trying to figure out what's best for the team, Judon's under contract, Jabril Peppers gets an extension.
Right.
You have to imagine that rubs him the wrong way. Okay, you're taking care of Jabril. That's a core guy. What about me? So then when the pads come on, he says, I'm not going to practice. And the way he's doing this is show up early, play catch with the fans, endear himself to Patriots Nation. And Matt Judon, when healthy, is good for 14 sacks in a season. Matt Judon, when healthy, has been the face of this franchise the last few years.
Yeah.
And it becomes a business. It's a business for him, and that's why he's now holding out, it looks like today, and it becomes a business for the Patriots. And Judon knows, when you look in the stands, you see all those number 10 jerseys with tape on the back and May over it? You know what's next to those? Number 9, me, the red sleeves. I'm the most marketable guy. I'm a leader in the locker room.
That's right.
I'm the biggest name. I do sell tickets even though I'm just an edge rusher.
Yep.
He's playing the game, and I can't hate him for doing that because that's what the Patriots are. And then he goes at home and he Googles Patriots cap space, $43 million. And he goes, why are you guys not paying me?
I mean, he's right.
He's crucial to the success of this defense.
Yes.
So how he's handled this, man, credit to him. He's creative. He did it. He showed up. He said, hey, I'm here in New England. I'm here in Foxboro. I will play when you pay me. But the Patriots haven't paid him yet. And now he's playing the part of leverage of, cool, you just lost Christian Barmore, and I hope Christian Barmore is going to be okay. His long-term health, his short-term health, everything. I'm happy he's at home being okay. But you lost arguably the best player on your defense in Christian Barmore for an indefinite amount of time.
Right.
I'm arguably the best. I'll say I'm second best. I'll even be a little polite. But you're going to lose me unless you pay me.
Yeah, that's why I think they need to get ahead of it. And look, if they haven't paid him yet, I got news for you. And I agree with you. I like the way Matthew Judon has played his hand as well. However, if you haven't got paid yet, and now you're raising all kinds of hell, you ain't getting paid, brother. So at this point,
stuff could get done, Trav.
I don't know. I don't believe it. You and I could make a bet on a beer or something. I'm down with that. I don't feel that passionately about it. I would be shocked. I'm at the point, George. I would be shocked if a deal gets done going Matthew Judon's way in terms of re-signing with the Patriots and him getting what he wants. I don't believe that. I think once you start rocking the boat publicly, you just screwed yourself. Now, I understand what you're saying. It's a leverage play. He's trying to drum up. And even in the court of public opinion, he's right. Well, you and I have been consistent in that. He should have already been paid. Mm-hmm. When they're passing out all these extensions to the younger guys, he should have got broken off too. And you and I, even back then, when this started, structured the contract for him. We said, we understand not signing him to a 4 or 5 year extension at his age and with the injury concerns, but give my man a 2-year deal with the cash. You just laid it out now for another team. That's what it could look like for the Patriots too. They chose to not do it. Now he's publicly rocking the boat, rattling the cage. I think when it gets to that point, the player always loses with that current team. He's not going to get paid. I've seen this play out so many times with so many other franchises in my career.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if Matthew Judon gets an extension from the Patriots now that he's looking for. That's why I think it's on the Pats. That's why I sit up here. Look, I am not a Bill Belichick apologist by any means. I thought it was time. It was time for a new voice. It was time for him to go. But the problem is, with Belichick, and this is a good thing, you had a culture of no distractions. We keep everything in-house, the Patriot way. It's hard to get paid and earn big money around here. They don't really give it out. Well, now you get rid of them. You bring in Drake Maye, who's all about everyone like me, and we're going to get along great and kumbaya, and let's make some s'mores, at the camp, at the bonfire. Meanwhile, you got this guy showing up to practice holding court in front of everyone. These players have to see that. The media sees that. I mean, what are we doing? Now it's not in-house. It's out-house. It is a distraction. I don't think he's going to get paid, brother. I really don't. And I think now just rip the Band-Aid off. The Patriots need to be grown-ups and trade his ass.
It's been a holdout. It's been public since the moment he spoke with the media on day one of training camp. You kick it off and go,
it's getting worse.
It's getting worse. Now it's to the point of a holdout where I thought Judon was here. I thought he was showing up.
Right.
And you're right. Now this is the price that Jerod Mayo has to pay.
That's right.
Where I am big, you know me, I'm big on failure. I'm big on making mistakes, and you learn from that. And Jerod Mayo said that. He goes, I won't make the same. I won't be a repeat offender. That is literally what Jerod Mayo says about any mistake he makes as a head coach, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, I expect the same of my crew, my team, my guys. All right, Jerod, you made the mistake of, let the guys be the guys. Talk to the media. Judon did it. Devon Godshaw did it.
That's right.
And now it's getting ugly in the public perception. And there is a thing, too, of now the optics on the outside. Jerod Mayo is a player coach, but he's a little too much of a player's coach. He's a little too friendly with these guys. And now he's learning it. Bill Belichick, you got to give him credit of how he could keep a culture sustained for 20-plus years, how he keeps that winning culture and people buying into the team. If any of this happened, he'd go right up to Matt Judon and go, look, I'm not trading you, but you're going to finish talking about it. We're going to figure this out. We're going to get this done.
Right.
And he's going to go up to the teammates. Like Juwan Bentley made a comment.
Yeah.
You guys know how important Matt Judon is to us. Bill Belichick would have went up to him and was like, just worry about your play. Worry about you leading the defense. You're getting up there. You got a few years left. You got to prove yourself. Worry about leading this defense because we're going to need you to carry the team in a way of shut up and let me handle the roster construction.
Yeah. Him
going up and talking to Matt Groh and Elliott Wolf, man, the Stones. And I respect it. Going up and talking to them, like, I'm right here. I'll have the hard convo. I'll talk for myself. No one will advocate for themselves more than Matt Judon for this money. And he's laying it all out. Like, I don't want to hear what my agent said or what you said. This is what I want. I want that guaranteed money. You pay me. All these people showing up, they know me more than anyone else on this roster. Now, it's a tough part. And it is. If he ends up in Detroit, that's best case scenario for Matt Judon. That's the Patriots being nice. They do get him out of the conference. They get something in return, but that'll be a bad draft pick. Now, if the Giants can make the money work, that's going to be a bad team. That'll be a good pick to have. Or if the Cardinals, who have the cap space, again, that's going to be a middling team. That'll be a better pick. But if they go Lions or Bears, they're doing a solid for Matt Judon by sending him there. And it works all around. Yes. Now it's a matter of if they want to do that solid for him.
Well, I think you should. And here's why. We're talking about internally. We're having a lot of internal conversations, you and I. He sees his teammates getting paid. He's holding court with Mayo and Elliott Wolf. He's talking to the media. He's going on local podcasts. Everything's internal. But think about this. If you're a veteran in this league, right, and you already have a preconceived notion of New England because all the years that Belichick was here for all the things I said earlier, it's hard to get paid, blah, 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 blah. So now if you're a veteran in this league, you're seeing this happen. You're seeing this play out with Matthew Judon. And you're like, I'd never even consider going there. Same old Patriots. They're not going to pay you. They're going to treat you, whatever, right? And so if you trade him to a wasteland, well then, and you don't do right by him, the veterans see that too. And these guys are going to be free agents at some point, and you have a young team, George. You have a very young nucleus here. You're going to want to add over the years veteran presence, veteran players to come in and to help get you over the hump. And so I think that sends a message too. You have to think about the optics around the league, not just in your little bubble. So if you don't do right, let's just go with the trade scenario because it sounds like we're on the same page. It's just time to move off of the guy. Okay, if you trade him, you do have to do right, I think, by Matthew Judon to send that message to the rest of the league. We don't disrespect our veterans. We will, even if we can't agree and we agree to disagree, we'll still do right by you at the end. That's why I like the Bears or your Lions take. Even the Cardinals I would accept if I was Matthew Judon.
I would take that. I'm in Arizona. I would take that too. Paid, nice.
You have a
sunny
quarterback. You have a coach. We don't know much about the coach, but clearly they sucked last year.
Defensive-minded head coach in Jonathan Gannon.
That team stunk last year without Kyler, and they fought to the end.
Exactly.
And then when they got Kyler in there, they were better, obviously. So I think that coach can coach. I think it's Gannon, right, in that?
Gannon.
So I mean, look, those would probably be the three I would be looking at. New York is New York. But I wouldn't really want to go to the Giants right now if I was a player, but I at least understand, that stage. But outside of that, I mean, anywhere else you send me, if you trade me and that team hasn't agreed to give me an extension, you didn't do right by me. That's the end of the road there. You can send him to a contender or not. What he's looking for is money because the Patriots likely aren't going to be a contender this year. So It's about the money. It's the same thing we talk about with Brandon Ayuk, bro. Like, these guys want to get paid. Okay, then trade me somewhere that's going to pay me. That's what matters to Matthew Judon.
For the Giants, it's not going to happen. They just gave Brian Burns a bag.
That's
traded
right.
for him from the Panthers.
Yeah.
They have Dexter Lawrence.
They don't need him.
And they're in cap hell themselves of trying to figure out
Right.
how to put a team together in their last year where they're stuck with Daniel Jones's contract.
Yeah.
We know that. But speaking of the Giants, I mean, the conversations that John Mara had with Joe Schoen, the GM of the Giants, talking about Saquon. He goes, man, Saquon, he's the biggest face. He sells a lot of jerseys. He's dollar signs.
Yeah.
You'd assume Robert Kraft is doing the same thing, having those conversations, or Jonathan Kraft and Robin Glazer, whoever it is. Mm-hmm. But they're having those talks with Elliot Wolf, or maybe they're letting it be. We will see.
Maybe.
But speaking of Robert Kraft, because Devon Gottschall was at practice too, didn't participate in team drills, so he's kind of doing a hold in on his own. Only wore shorts, but had his pads on.
Yeah.
And this is a report by Chris Mason of Mass Live. He tweeted, Robert Kraft sought out Gottschall on the sidelines, had a brief chat with him. Simple. Didn't sound like it was animated or anything.
Yeah.
Then there's Robert Kraft doing his thing of, look,
we're going to take care of you.
Yeah, we're family here, and I love you. I love you all like my sons. You'll come back when Tom Brady has his 27th jersey retirement ceremony, and you'll be invited, Devon.
Hey, man, you retire that jersey as many times as you need to. That's a great Tom Brady.
Last time I saw that stadium full, because it hasn't been full like that
That's
in a minute.
right.
But the big report, too, Mike Giardi of the Boston Sports Journal, reporting Matt Judon and the Patriots remained far apart on contract negotiations. I'm guessing Judon's due $8 million this year. They're probably trying to get him to 10 or 11.
Right.
But looking at guys similar age, similar output, Montez Sweat and guaranteed money making $15.5 million a year.
Right.
While Bradley Chubb, guaranteed money making $10.6 million a year. And guaranteed money. So I'm talking about the breakdown here. Judon probably hoping, again, he got that 14.5 last year, coming off an injury. He wants that security one more time. Give me 13. Give me 15 million. We'll see. I mean, this is a top 10 guy at his position when he's right.
I think it's fair.
And when he's healthy.
Yes.
And that type of guaranteed money would put him in a certain spot in the NFL in the pecking order. It's just a matter of them getting him to
I
it.
don't think he's being unreasonable. I just think, I wonder, and you and I have said this, is it the duration of the contract? Is he seeking that security of a 4 or 5 year deal? And if I'm the Patriots, I wouldn't budge either.
This is about to be year 9. He's 32.
Injuries.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's just one more guaranteed payday. Now, if it was something that got him, say, $12 million a year guaranteed over the next 3 years, he'd take that through year 35. So whether it's duration, end of the day,
I think it's
guaranteed
duration.
money. I think end of the day, I think he would want guaranteed money over the course of the next 2 seasons. So when he's 34, he could get one more restructured payday.
But that's really what you're saying. It sounds like is a 3 year deal.
2.
Well, a 3 year deal, 2 where he gets most of the cash up front, and the 2, and then an option third, right?
Year.
I would take that if I was him.
Yeah, I would.
Right? But what we don't know is if that's even what the Patriots are thinking. The Patriots might be like, we'll offer you a 1 year deal. Maybe he doesn't want that.
I'm looking at that Lions cap space. I'm looking at their window. Same thing with the Bears. Both can make it work.
Yep.
And he has a lot. He's a game wrecker. And this is the tough part that the Patriots are in right now, no matter what, Trav. Christian Barmore, who's your best player on defense, is out indefinitely. Hope he gets back healthy, let alone being back to playing football. Matt Judon, you trade him away. Those are your 2 best players on defense, your 2 game wreckers, and in a division where you're facing Aaron Rodgers, now with the revamped offensive line.
Right.
Where you're facing Josh Allen.
Yep.
No matter how many weapons short he is, you're still facing him.
Right.
And you're facing that Dolphins offense. You need to win at the line of scrimmage. Dolphins ran all over the Patriots last time they saw them. Mm-hmm. All over, broke their back. The Jets ended up beating them at the end of the year, but that was, whatever, a pity game at that point. And then Josh Allen is that dude that you watch and you go, they have a guy. We have a quarterback, they have a guy. To get after those QBs, to slow down those offenses, you need to win at the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
And the Patriots are in a very tough spot right now because we don't know when Christian Barmore will be back, and we don't know if Matt Judon will ever be on the team to play snap in the regular season this season unless they trade him away.
Look, I alluded to a bet between you and I, but let's just go on record right now.
I'll bring burgers. I'll cook some burgers for
forget the bet. Let's just go on record because you know how Brendan will clip this if we want him to. What is your prediction that happens with Matthew Judon in the Patriots this season? Because I do not. I am confident. If I had to put a number on it, right now I'm 99.9% confident that he's traded. And I think it's going to be soon. I think when you start, I'm going to use this word, I think when you start embarrassing people, you're in trouble. And quite frankly, if I'm Drake Maye, even though you fostered this atmosphere, I would feel embarrassed. If I'm Elliott Wolf, I would feel embarrassed. And I just think this guy's going to get traded sooner than later. Do you believe he will get traded, or do you think they'll work out a deal?
I think when you look at him being 32 and with this team's window, this being a foundation year, what they need to do with the foundation is lay down the culture.
Okay.
But if they trade him, they're losing a leader on defense and a guy that's well-respected, loved, highly regarded in that locker room. That's the tough part.
Yep.
But 32, not going to be around in 3 years. If they need to get a wide receiver one and they get one in, Matt Judon's traded. They can't pay both. If they don't get one, I think Matt Judon stays.
Well, give me an answer.
So I got to give you if he's staying or going. I think, and it's a way of all these extensions are giving out.
Yep.
What it was with Jabril Peppers, Mike Onwenu, Christian Barmore, Kyle Duggar, Hunter Henry. The list goes on and on. Ramondre Stevenson. Again, they're projecting to outside free agents. If you come here, you will play, we will win, and then we'll pay you again. I think they end up paying Matt Judon.
Okay.
And I think he ends up staying. It's getting ugly. It's getting public. It was also public last year. He's just going through it of he's playing hardball with them. And he knows what he has on his side because they paid a lot on this defense and they paid a lot in that secondary, the two levels behind Judon. Man, if they don't have him, though, this becomes a 3-win football team. Right now, they could win 6 or 7 games.
Yeah.
They lose Judon, that's 3 wins at most because that defense will not be able to win games for them.
There you go, Brendo. You got the clip. I think he's traded. George thinks he's going to work it out and get paid.
Brenda Wiedekind yelling in my ear, too. Move on. We got more to talk about.
We get to talk about my favorite topic now.
Yeah, we do. Yes, we do. Drake Maye today.
Woo!
8 for 15 overall. 5 for 11 and 11 on 11s.
All right.
And Trav, he was going to walk off the field with 1 completion in 6 pass attempts in 11 on 11s. But the Patriots were like, stay out there. You need to get completions.
Yeah.
At the end of the day with 3 completions for him. While Jacoby Brissett, same thing, 8 for 15 overall, went 6 for 11 and 11 on 11s with a sack, but 2 20-yard touchdowns.
Oh.
1 to Jalen Polk, which was a high-pointing touchdown play of the day, and then he had a good pass to KJ Osborne as well. Dude, hold on. Let's have an adult conversation here, Trav,
okay,
right?
Sure, man.
Let's have an adult conversation.
All right.
Understand that I want Drake Maye to work out. Mm-hmm. But it's a process and it's a situation. And Jacoby Brissett right now is a better pro quarterback. It's not a matter of if Jacoby Brissett's better than Drake Maye. The capabilities of throwing the football, Drake Maye is better. Who is the best professional quarterback in the game that keeps your offense on time, keeps your offense on schedule, doesn't lose games, and takes care of the football? That's Jacoby Brissett. Once Drake Maye shows that, then he will be the starter. It's not Jacoby against Drake. It's Drake Maye against himself. But right now, this is Jacoby Brissett putting together 6 days where he is better than Drake Maye.
Can I ask you a question? Who gives you a better chance to win?
Jacoby Brissett right now.
I disagree.
In an NFL game, Jacoby Brissett takes care of the football,
This is where we
sets up this defense
this is our
to win,
disconnect.
knows this offense better.
It's our
he
disconnect.
gives you a better chance to win.
This is our disconnect.
You got one guy with a much higher floor, and that's Jacoby Brissett. And even though Drake Maye's ceiling is so much higher, we don't know if he can come close to that. And also, Trav, I'll give you this.
Okay.
I'm not going to base off week 1, week 7, week 15.
Why not?
Off 2 padded practices. I'm helping you out here.
Why not?
I'm not going to write it off. I'm helping you. Because right now, if you want to go off the sample size we have, Jacoby's your week 1 starter, who, remember, was a week 1 starter coming out of spring.
Right.
If this continues, it will be Jacoby. But it's about winning football games in the NFL. It's not about winning a Super Bowl right now.
Yeah.
It's about being a foundational team and winning games. And Jacoby Brissett does that for you.
I am focused on week 1. And I'm thinking
do you think week 1's going to happen because he is locked in on warm-ups?
No, I think he just gives me the best chance to win. And I understand where you're coming from. Jacoby Brissett is a veteran. He's been around, blah, blah, blah. Listen, bro, I've seen the movie over and over again. Bro couldn't beat out Sam Howell. I'm good on the Jacoby Brissett experience. What I haven't seen is the Drake Maye one. So, coaches, figure out my offensive line. Figure out my play calling. Figure out the tempo of the offense. Figure out who in the hell in this wide receiver group can play. It seems like they all can except Juju to me, but that's another topic.
Looked good.
Yeah, I mean, all these guys are doing something. Juju Smith-Schuster's not doing anything. I mean, it's not rocket science to me, but I'm not a coach. Coaches, figure it out. Figure out the Matthew Judon stuff. Figure it all out. And then you know what I need? Week 1. The Drake Maye saga begins. That's what I need, because that I haven't seen before. I've seen Jacoby Brissett. I'm not interested.
But it's about what you're going to see from Drake Maye in year 2 and year 3. And if you mess it up because you rush him in year 1, then you're never going to get to the Drake Maye that you want to see, Trav. They're playing the long game in all this. And you saw that in Washington, and that's fine, with them going with Sam Howell over Jacoby Brissett. But that's also a Washington Commanders team going with, hey, we got to play this guy we drafted, because if he shows he has something, he saves all our jobs, all the coaches that were there, the entire front office. And he didn't, and he's gone, and he's looking terrible where he's at now.
Yeah.
And Washington hit the reset button.
Yeah.
With Jacoby Brissett, the same thing. This head coach, this front office, it's a 3-year plan. And they know they can take their time. Because if Drake Maye comes out and sucks in year 1 and he regresses and he can't recover in year 2, we just saw it happen with Mac Jones. They don't want to see that movie. You don't want to see the Jacoby Brissett movie? Man, Patriots fans don't want to see the movie they've seen for the last 5 years. Because Tom Brady leaves after winning a Super Bowl. 2020, Cam Newton gets signed late. That offense was completely vamped by Josh McDaniels, and credit to him. And they barely got to a winning season, but they missed the playoffs. 2021, different offense. Is Josh McDaniels, Mac Jones rookie year, Pro Bowl alternate. 2022, new playbook. Matt Patricia, Joe Judge. Mac forgets how to play football. 2023, Bill O'Brien with one hand tied behind his back with his offensive staff. Completely new offense. 2024, we're in year 5. 5 straight years, 5 different offenses, 5 different types of quarterbacks. They have to watch the long term. And it's about bringing Jacoby in, letting him execute this offense, letting them compete in games, and teach Drake Maye how to play in this system. Austin Hooper, teaching the receivers, the offensive line, and Jaheim Bell how to play in this system. The guys that they brought in that have West Coast experience, teaching them how to win games. Bringing this offensive line together 1 year at a time, bringing this quarterback room together 1 year at a time, and bringing these wide receivers together 1 year at a time. I said we're going to have an adult conversation. This is what I'm saying, Trav, of I love you, and I'm sorry. I don't want to tell you what you want to hear.
It's not going to happen in week 1.
I have to tell you the truth.
You're saying it's not happening in week 1.
You're my boy. I'm your boy. I'm not. And you know why you're my boy? And you know why we're best buds? Because I will tell you the hard truth. And I will tell you the truth. And that's what it's looking like in New England to me.
That's your truth. Here's the bottom line. Week 1.
No.
Drake Maye against Slim Shady Hair himself, Joe Burrow in the jungle, baby. LFG.
You're my boy that keeps going out to the clubs and keeps finding these girls and meeting them at bars and going, why? Like, why haven't I found anyone? Why haven't I found? And I go, you know what, man? Like, try the apps. The apps aren't that bad. Why don't you go to a coffee shop in the morning and shoot your shot in line when it's 10 a.m. on a Saturday, not 3 a.m. in Southie the night before. And then I keep telling you, go. Yeah, but you know what? I like the way I do it.
We took shots of Jameson together. She loves me, man.
She said she loves me. Oh, one more. I'll leave with this, and then we'll get into some talk.
What?
4th straight practice, Caden Wallace at left tackle, Chooks Okorafor at right tackle. That's your daily offensive line talk.
There it is.
See how light I kept it?
That was light. I appreciate that.
Me being your boy.
I appreciate that.
I'll hit you with the hard stuff over the head, and then I know when to lay off.
Man, I appreciate that. Always gentle, GB.
Hey, check out the latest episode of Boston Has Entered the Chat. It's myself and Trav. You know those new ones dropping every Monday through Friday. Wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Amazon Prime. Watch along. Nesson YouTube, Nesson on Twitch as well. Just hit the subscribe button on both those channels. And same thing with Foxboro Rush. You know the new episodes drop every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Or in case of emergency, we'll drop some off schedule as well. That's what it is when it comes to football season. Like, subscribe, rate, review, all those shows. All right, let's get into this. Is interesting. John Elway. I want.
Yeah.
Tell me if you're shocked.
Yeah.
He, quote, regrets passing on quarterback Josh Allen in the 2018 draft.
Yeah.
He said this on Part of My Take. He goes, I loved him, but it just didn't work out. He was my type. That was probably my biggest mistake of my GM days, was not taking Josh.
Yep.
They picked Bradley Chubb instead. Bradley Chubb, 41 games in 4 years for the Broncos, 20 and a half sacks in 41 games. Josh Allen, in 93 starts for the Bills, 63 regular season wins. He also has 10 playoff starts. Over 22,000 passing yards, total touchdowns, 220 in the regular season in 93 games.
Wee.
And Josh Allen is the second best quarterback in the NFL. Bradley Chubb's now with Miami. Man, John Elway.
Yep. He'd still be employed.
No, what do you say? No shot, Sherlock?
Yeah. He'd still be there. Look, it's the most telling part of the quote was Elway saying, "He's my type." Yeah, no kidding, bro. I mean, raw ability, can throw football over those mountains, big, physical, strong. Everything Elway was, except Elway, I think cerebral-wise, was further along than Josh Allen was coming out. It's so easy now in hindsight to say, well, how did you not see Josh Allen? He was raw as hell, bro.
56% completed passes.
Yeah, like he went to Wyoming. Like, everyone relax. He was very raw. So was Bradley Chubb. I remember the knock at the time on Chubb was he didn't necessarily have the pass rush packages that you want to see. He was raw. He was athletic. But that's why you draft players and you coach them up. You teach them the pass rush moves. You put some tools in that toolbox. And the bottom line is this. In this league, you either have the quarterback, someone to protect him, or someone that can rush him. So I don't necessarily knock Elway for taking Bradley Chubb. It's easy now to look back and say he should have taken Josh Allen. If he took Josh Allen, Denver would be at the top of the heap. I would imagine Josh Allen would have a much better career because over time, that franchise historically figures it out when they get the quarterback right. More so than the Buffalo Bills, who's a loser franchise trying to figure out how to win. So I would think Josh Allen would have more success in Denver, and certainly John Elway would still be there. And the Elway-Josh Allen connection would have helped both as well. So, yeah, I mean, he's right. It's the one that got away, and it's your fault, John.
Yeah, he's a outside consultant for the Broncos right now.
Yeah. Well, he was inside.
Yeah, he was. Way too much.
Right.
Drafted Paxton Lynch in 2016, 26 overall, who lost to Trevor Siemian twice for the starting job, only 4 career starts. 13 starting quarterbacks since Peyton Manning retired. And John Elway went out and signed Peyton Manning a free agency, the easiest free agency signing you can do of all time. Year 1, Hall of Fame numbers. Year 2, barely was able to be on the field, but that defense was so goddamn good that they were winning a Super Bowl no matter what. All right, so let's get into Mount Rushmore talk. So we sent out a ballot to our Nesson.com writers, on air talent, our producers, all throughout Nesson, basically the people we know that know ball. And we ranked every position, quarterback, receiver, offensive lineman, kickers, Mount Rushmore, even kick returners. Let's start with the quarterbacks today.
All right.
So the unanimous top 4, the most listed were, no surprise, Tom Brady 1. Joe Montana 2. Peyton Manning on the Mount Rushmore. And to round it out, Patrick Mahomes.
All right.
So Brady, GOAT, greatest football player of all time, no doubt. Joe Montana, the GOAT before the GOAT. Between the two of them, obviously combined 12 rings. Peyton Manning, stuck in the Tom Brady era, would have had more rings. Mahomes, to me, will be the GOAT one day. I'm just thinking, the guys that got left off. Could have been a Drew Brees.
Brees.
Dan Marino doesn't have the rings. Johnny Unitas.
Elway, we just talked about. He's got 2 rings.
Finally broke through at the end and got his rings. Johnny Unitas is a name that always comes up, and I'm like, let me see. Played from 55 to 73. Long career. Only won 1 Super Bowl. But in his career, 290 touchdowns, 253 interceptions. Mahomes, 63 interceptions. Manning, 251. Montana, 139. Brady, 212. And obviously Unitas played in that era where there's a lot less passes thrown. But looking at this Mount Rushmore, Trav, you love it? You hate it? What do you think?
I was shocked to see Montana over Manning. I felt like most people had elevated Peyton Manning over him at this point. But as far as the 4, no, I'm not shocked at all. You mentioned the guys, Elway, Marino. Marino didn't have the rings. Unitas I didn't even necessarily think about, but I always think in terms of players that I watch, so I wouldn't have thought of him with respect. I don't have a problem with this at all. I think Mahomes is clearly the one on this list whose stock is rising by the sheer strength that he's the only one currently playing out of this list. But No, the 4's right. I'm trying to pick my brain of what current quarterbacks can maybe crack this one day. And the only one I can sort of think of is Joe Burrow, but he needs, at this point, a decade of being healthy and then letting it play out. And I'm just not sure he can give us that. It's not Lamar. Maybe if C.J. Stroud, what he did in his rookie year is sustainable, but we have no idea of knowing that.
He continues to climb from there.
I know you're a big Jordan Love fan. Let's see also if it's sustainable. But there's no real guys right now that I look at that I think can crack this. Obviously, you need, what are the prerequisites? We understand the statistics. So in a passing league, I think there's going to be plenty of guys in the conversation to be on a Mount Rushmore one day, statistically only. But, I mean, let's be honest. You got to have the rings, baby. It don't mean a ting if you ain't got the ring. So you need more than one ring, which is why, even like you mentioned, Drew Brees, he's got one ring. I think it hurts him. Aaron Rodgers, he's got one ring. I think it hurts him.
You get a second this year. No, I'm joking.
We'll see, right? So you got to have playoff memories, playoff moments, big playoff wins, and you got to have rings. Outside of Mahomes right now, who in the hell do you really trust to get that done?
The one I think of, I like the Burrow call. He's just 27.
Yeah.
They finally got an offensive line for him.
Well,
my issue is that's his Cincinnati Bengals, and that's just a loser franchise. Now, he's been to a Super Bowl.
Yes.
But that's a loser franchise.
Yes.
Jordan Love, I like you shouting out. No one's higher on him than me. But to say that he can enter a GOAT convo, I need to see 17 games, let alone multiple years.
That's what I said.
And then you have C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
I like that call, too. When Bobby Slowick gets a head coaching job, though, it's going to be very interesting what happens with C.J. Stroud and his progression. Justin Herbert, just 26 years old, has all the ability in the world. Let's see him in a winning culture, like with Jim Harbaugh and what he's going to build in L.A.
Yep.
I'm more willing, out of those guys, I would put my stock into Justin Herbert or Josh Allen entering this greatest of all time combo.
Josh Allen.
But the issue with both those guys I named, both are in the AFC. CJ Stroud, AFC. Joe Burrow, AFC.
Yeah.
Jordan Love's in the NFC. Who's that guy that's in the AFC? Mahomes. The only one. All these names we go through. You mentioned Elway. I said Drew Brees. I said Marino. You mentioned other guys on this list. Mahomes is the only current player that we have no problem of going, what?
Yeah.
When mentioning his name with the greats of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you what, there's a kid in Chicago keep your eye on. He hasn't even
He's in the Hall of Fame already for you, bro.
He hasn't even taken a snap yet, but that's a kid that is skill set wise very similar to Patrick Mahomes. He can move around. He doesn't take big shots. The arm's there. The weapons are there. It's a historic franchise. Not a historically great quarterback franchise, but a historically great franchise. I think that plays into it in a big market as well. All of a sudden, Caleb Williams makes the playoffs as a rookie and has a good showing, like C.J. Stroud did. Now you're maybe cooking with something there. So that's someone to just keep your eye on. My only concern with Caleb long-term, what I've noticed with him now, this didn't happen when I covered him in high school, but I didn't cover him. I didn't cover Hollywood Caleb Williams at USC either. So it seems like he's a little into me now. It's some diva stuff there. So that worries me a bit because things like that can affect your legacy, right? Patrick Mahomes, one of the reasons, yes, he's a great player, but he's also a great teammate. He's also just very much an all-shucks country boy. We love that. That's endearing. Caleb has some things that developed since he left the DMV where I'm looking and I'm like, I don't know if that's really you or a facade, but that can hurt a legacy. All of a sudden you get in year 4, year 5 with him and he's on some diva stuff that can change the public perception and change a legacy.
Situation again, 2 great tackles, 3 great receivers. We can see what they do with that defense. Got him a good play caller in Shane Waldron. It's up to Matt Eberflus and what he can do with Caleb Williams. Well, you would like to hear, there was a report coming out of the camp. Caleb Williams actually had to talk with his teammates. They were leaving too many bottles and too many tape cut off. Empty water bottles around the locker room of hey, let's be adults, clean up after yourselves because it's not your job to do that.
That's a good thing.
That's a DMV boy right there, right? That's a DMV Caleb coming through.
Damn right.
That's the stuff you want to hear. You put the country accent on it.
Hey, look, meanwhile, I'm like this, George. Litter everywhere.
That's what Trav does. Again, we have to have another adult combo. We'll get that on the next Foxboro Rush. Now he's throwing things. New episodes dropping every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I don't know how I'm going to land this plane now. He's Travis Thomas. I'm George Balekji. Thanks for listening. We're going to get out before Trav lights this place on fire. Later.